hats off to a very, very good Towson team. Pat does a great job, and just really proud of our guys and our response. Obviously, to you lose 2 in a row on the road, and you kind of get out physicaled in those games and kind of learn what some of your deficiencies are. But in a super quick turnaround, coming back here and playing a really good Towson team. And you're not beating Towson. You're not beating one of Pat's teams unless you're extremely physical and you play with great toughness and you play with great togetherness. And that's what we were missing in those last couple games, and that's what we responded with here today. But I'm thankful for that. I told our guys, I've got the Bible verse, Proverbs 27:17 on our wall, right? As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And we talk about, are you going to be the iron in other people's lives? And we got a bunch of iron on that schedule, man, playing teams that are picked to win their league. They're going to make us better. And do we want to win those games? Absolutely. But I know this sounds cliche, but I'm so incredibly locked in on the process. And I'm thankful for the wounds that we got in those games because they helped us to get better. They showed what we needed to do. Super proud of our guys' response to get this win tonight.
Talked to Pat a minute ago, and he said they held Houston, St. John's, Rutgers, and exhibition games all under 40% shooting. You guys shoot 56%. I think maybe Brad hit one off-balance one, and I think other than that, they were good shots you were getting. What did you do to get those kinds of looks against a team that's really generally very good defensively? Yeah,
they're a terrific defensive team. Obviously, those numbers that you mentioned, so it's not an easy task. We always talk about every team in the country runs plays, right? Do you execute offense? And showing our guys the difference between that. And executing your offense is running the things that you do against another team's defense and doing it well. You may run the same exact play, a screen to screener or whatever, but you have to understand how they're going to defend it and what are the nuances and the adjustments that you have to be able to make. And our guys really did that tonight, and they ran our stuff fast. They ran it physical. We had a couple execution errors that maybe, to the naked eye wasn't out there, and Brad even bailed us out on a possession or two with those. But that's what we've been wanting to do. That's what we've been needing to do. Some of our matchups as of late had made it difficult for us to be able to do that. But to be able to share the ball, 14 assists, only 7 turnovers, and generate those shooting numbers that you mentioned against a tough Towson team, that really says a lot about our guys and their physicality and their offensive mindset to execute and just share the ball.
And I asked Eddie if this was his best all-around game here. He didn't think maybe it was. He thought maybe top 3. What do you think? Was that one of his best efforts?
I would think so, yeah. That was a tall task. Eddie plays 36 minutes, and he drew the assignment of Tyler Tejada, who also played 36 minutes, and Tejada's a terrific player. So we're not going to be able to keep him from scoring, but we have to make him really earn it. And I thought Eddie did that. He exhausted himself on the defensive end here tonight, and really made Tyler have to work to get what he wanted. He took 20 shots, right? So you hold him to 1 of 5 from 3, kept him off the line. He forced him into a couple turnovers, 9 of 20. So he did a nice job. He had to really work to get to his 21 points, and he's a terrific player. But then you look at the offensive side for Eddie. I would have been just fine had he exhausted himself in 36 minutes on a player like Tejada and not had an awesome offensive night. But, man, he really did. And, he was the beneficiary of some really good execution and some nice easy passes and shooting the ball with great confidence. He drove it tonight, got to the foul line, finished, got on the offensive glass a little bit for us. But I would venture to say this was his best overall game.
Right out the gate, Justin, quick 7 points. Also showing some emotion throughout that process as well. How big is that maybe in a sense of kind of getting the team more comfortable just as a whole, kind of seeing them play at that level, get things going?
Well, I'm glad you picked up on that because it means a lot, okay? Our guys know just how talented Justin is. And when he's when he's out there having fun and really just trying to serve his teammates, which is the theme of our team, man, he's special, right? And so, the guys were really happy in the locker room. But when J-Mac walked in after doing his on-court interview, they exploded because he's such a great teammate, and they want him to find success, and they know that he puts a lot of pressure on himself, right? But they also know that potential is there, and he just, so he gave us a ton of confidence in the beginning right there. But he can hurt you in so many ways. He can post the ball, he can drive it, he passes the ball well, he shoots it from the perimeter. He is a real problem out there on that court. And people have to game plan for what they're going to do and how you're going to take it away from them. And there's an array of ways that he can beat you.
And I know in the second half, things maybe looked like they were starting to slip. What was the message going into timeout, and what did you like about the team's response to be able to close out the way they did?
Yeah, I thought, I wasn't happy at halftime, with the offensive rebounds. They had 7. It felt like they had 1,000,000. I was just very disappointed in that. I was disappointed in our 5s. They had 0 defensive rebounds between 3 of them. They finished the game with 1. We still got to talk about that. But yeah, that's a great sign that, hey, like, we were playing great. We came out. We had a couple turnovers that turned into points. We didn't finish a couple possessions. We could have broken apart right there, but we did not. And so coming into the huddle, hey, here's our game plan. Relax, get back to everything that we talked about in the huddles and pregame and halftime, and that'll be good enough. And they certainly believed that, and they stayed the course. And I would tell you, for a team of 13 new guys, okay, many of which haven't experienced a whole lot of winning at their last stop or stops, right? And so we talked about this the other day. When you lose a couple games, they're probably thinking, oh, man, here we go again. Coach is just going to go off and think that this thing is done. I walked into the film room. I'm like, listen, we're going to be fine. Like, I'm not thrilled. I wanted to win these games. But there is a process to becoming a good team. We cannot skip steps, and you can't run away from the hard parts of it. And that's exactly what we've gone through the beginning of the season. So to see our guys respond like that in this game, in that moment after their run, was a huge step in the right direction for us.
The biggest stat when you look at what your stat line was for the season versus the opponents, the biggest discrepancy was in foul shooting.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the percentages, but the numbers.
Yep.
Tonight, was that a step in the right direction, the way that your team drove and got to the free throw line the way that it did?
It was. We've got to flip that, right? I think coming into this game, our opponents had made more free throws than we had attempted, and that's not a recipe you're going to win with. And so, yeah, we wanted to – you've got to loosen them up. They're such a terrific defensive team, a pack line team. They make it really hard to drive the ball. So our guys did a significantly better job of we call it attacking between their coverages and not settling, because they'd like for you to settle and they'd like to contest and keep their rebounding positioning. That's part of the reason they're such a good defensive team. So we did drive the ball. I thought we created closeouts, got a few matchups, and really drove it, and made good decisions when we did, and finished our paint shots better than what we'd been doing as well.
How about the decision-making tonight of Douglas? Because in facing that pack line,
yeah, you
have to be patient. You have to keep probing. You have to. You can't be in a hurry.
Yeah, he did a great job. I tell you, I don't know that everybody realizes what a gifted passer Brad is, right? He really truly is. And we track every pass, okay? Because to me, passing is so important. I've had guys throughout my career that have been top 15, top 5 in the nation in assists as point guards. They've been totally different type players. But putting those guys in position and then letting them, really showcase their pace and their playmaking ability, I thought Brad did a great job with that. I'm anxious to see, Coach Baker is kind of our passing coach, right? And so he tracks every pass in practice and in games, and then he gives it to me and gives it to the staff. So right here we got Brad for 6 assists. I'm interested to see how many assist attempts he got, threw it to a guy, miss a shot, or hockey assists that he generated for us tonight, because I thought he did a terrific job running our team.
You've talked a little bit about, the MTE that you're playing in the off season, but I was going to ask you a little bit again about how you're able to kind of emulate the conference tournament format and go play some teams with some different styles down there.
Yeah.
And what that means to you at this point in the season as you kind of maybe turn a corner a little bit towards how you want to play.
Sure. Yeah. Just to be honest, everything we do is to prepare for conference and to prepare for March. That's what it is, right? And so when we put our schedule together, there's so many factors, there's so many hurdles to jump through. When we had an opportunity to, take our team down to Miami and get away for a couple of days, obviously that was attractive, and to play 2 games in 2 days against 2 quality opponents that I don't know a lot about them, but I can venture to say they're going to be totally different. We got to put ourselves in the fire, right? Like that's what you got to do if, March is your goal. Right? If March is your goal, then that you got to put yourself through that. And so I'm excited to see how we respond and you see what these teams are going to offer us, what kind of challenges and what we've got to do to prepare. But it's a lot more fun to come in and prepare off of a hard-fought win like we have today than anything else. And so I'm excited to take that momentum down to Florida.
So Towson, they got to that 46-39 lead, a little bit early on in the second half. I think they were like at a 42-22 run at that point in the game after you guys got out to that hot start. And Cliff Davis, he had like 3 threes in about under 3 minutes. He hadn't hit a 3 before in that point in the game. Just talk about what he kind of provided at that moment. Yeah,
Cliff and the entire team would tell you if he misses 10 straight good threes, shoot the 11th one, right? Because he's an elite shooter. And we've got a lot of stuff to get him loose, to get him shots, and the guys did a terrific job with that execution and delivering that to him. But those were huge, those 3 threes in that stretch, because he's got supreme confidence, as he should, and his teammates, got great confidence in him and finding him and getting him the ball where he needs it. But yeah, he's a guy that he can come out and miss as many as he'd like. The expectation is he takes the next open one.
And you talked something about the passing with Douglas, but of course, he had a good day from the 3-point arc. Just talk about, him being able to hit those. I think he only started 3 of 17 this year, and that he's really got his percentage up after today.
Yeah, and a lot of that, the 3 of 17 is he's a way better shooter than that. I think it's just been hard to get into a rhythm. Brad can really shoot the ball, and I thought he did a great job with that. He even bailed us out of a bad possession or 2 with that. But we probably got to find a way to get him a couple more clean looks, because obviously he can shoot the ball terrifically. And then once he's able to play off his shot fake, get his man set up, then he's a gifted passer and ball screen, setting the table for everybody else.
And when he hit the logo 3, the crowd was getting into it. Just talk about what kind of having that big shot, because Towson wasn't able to get much closer after that.
Yeah, that was a huge shot. That was really big. And, I've seen Brad make a lot of those big shots over the years. 2 years ago, my Morehead State team lost by 3 at Little Rock on a Brad Douglas 3, if I'm not mistaken. And so he can make those shots. He's not afraid. He doesn't run away from those moments. He made a number of those last year at his previous school in conference play. So he's kind of got that swagger that you need in those moments for somebody that's ready to step up and take the big shot.
After Washington Lee, you said you wanted your players to put more pride in their one-on-one matchups. Where's the team at in that area now compared to 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, a lot better. I think we're a lot better with it. We've still got a lot of improvement to do, but I thought we did a better job in applying personnel, staying in front of our man, getting back into our gaps, helping each other guard the bounce one-on-one. I thought we made huge strides in that, because had we not made huge strides from where we were on Saturday at LIU, we're not having this conversation about a win against a good Towson team. So we're making strides. We still got a ways to go. I think I told one of the SID guys walking through here, I don't know that I'll ever be satisfied, but I'm certainly pleased with a little bit of progress.